Alrighty, good day and welcome. My name is Mr. JB and today we are going through another PhotoPea tutorial. Today we're going to be going over some more similar to what our last video was with some glowing, but instead we're going to be creating some glowing eyes. So I've got this image here of Daredevil and we're going to kind of get rolling with that. To begin, I've already dropped in my image. I'm going to be selecting my pen tool, and up in the top it says path. You want to select that as shape. We're going to set our fill color to white and we're going to leave our stroke as nothing. I'm going to start drawing around these eyes. It doesn't need to be perfect, but you want it to be as good as you can be. You're going to make two separate shapes, one for each of these eyes, and again, doesn't need to be perfect. Once you've got one, you can just take the pen over and you can start dealing with the other one. I ended up clicking up earlier, so I'm just going to remove that. I'm just going to end up drawing around this eye. The glow will kind of hide any small little whoopsies that you make, but do your best to make it look decent. Awesome. So that's going to be good enough. This right eye looks a little funky, but that's totally okay. We're going to be working on the right eye for the time being because it'll help me for seeing for our layers. We can hit select or EFF for our effects, and we are going to go to gradient overlay. Once that's selected, we are going to change the color. So we're going to double click on where it says gradient, and that's going to open up our color menu. From there, we're going to select the color, the black box on the bottom, and we're just going to select a bright red. With that selected, we're going to drag that all the way over, probably about 75 to 80% of the way over. Then we're going to double click on this black box somewhere around there, and it should open up another color menu so we can have a second portion of this gradient. Now for this, we want to end up having something a little bit more orangey, so we're going to go and we're going to find something that's just a little bit of an orangey red. Again, we're going to keep it somewhat vibrant, but we're going to choose something a little more orangey. That's going to help us for kind of the way our gradient's going to go. Going to slide that over more towards the left. That means we're going to see a little bit more of it. And then I'm going to double click on the white, and I'm going to change that to a little bit brighter of an orange than what we just previously had. That way we've got a nice transition. Oh, that's pretty similar to what we had. So we're just going to end up adjusting that. Awesome. So with that, we're going to click OK. We are going to change our style from, instead of linear, we're going to change it to radial, which is going to give us our circle, and it looks weird. So we're going to select reverse, so that way it inverts that. So that way we've got the bright color from the middle. We're going to adjust our scale. Now this is going to be dependent on your eye, and you're just going to end up stretching that out. So that way it roughly would be about the size of what his actual iris and all of that would be in his eye. If you need to adjust the angle because it's weird, you can adjust the x-axis just to make sure that it's in the center for whatever it is that you're looking at. Mine's going to be 0 because it should be pretty straightforward with that. I am going to end up clicking OK, and that should lock in this eye. Now, when I click on my other shape, my other eye, and I click effect and I click onto my gradient overlay, it should automatically do that. Everything should be input, but sometimes the eyes need to be adjusted in their size based on going left to right because of the size of it itself. So I'm just going to increase the size of this eye a little bit so that way it can kind of match what I need it to. If you needed to change the angle on it, you can adjust all of that through here with the angle. Again, x-axis if you need to go up and down or left and right. Click OK, and I'm going to lock that in. Now, right now these eyes don't look fantastic. It's okay. If you wanted to spend more time, you could make this look more clean. This tutorial is just going to help you go through it quickly so you have a general idea of what's going on. Now, with this, I'm going to go back to my first eye. I'm going to click Effect, and I'm going to select Outer Glow. I'm going to change my Outer Glow color to red. That way it's there, and we can start working on that. It's selected as screen as default. We are going to end up changing that to normal. So we're going to change our blend mode to normal up at the top. We're going to leave our opacity somewhere around the 70 to 90 range, depending on what you have. I always like to throw a little bit of noise on there, just give it a little bit of pixelization. For me, I'm going to end up upping my spread to somewhere around the 25-ish range. Hopefully that ends up giving me what I want it to do. And I'm going to end up changing my size to somewhere around the 40s. I'm going to drop that down. And that's going to end up giving us that. Now, if we didn't have that noise, we don't get that pixelization. Depending on what you want, I personally like it, especially for this image. It looks a little more grainy. So I feel like that matches the theme of this. And I'm going to leave my range at still around 50. And I'm going to leave my jitter alone. I'm going to click OK. And then I'm going to go to shape 3. And I'm going to click Effect, and I'm going to go to Outer Glow, and same idea. Now, if you need to kind of erase some of this or blend some of this, we can totally do that. We're just going to increase some of our opacity a little bit. That's going to kind of help remove some of those things. Then we're going to go back to that other eye, and we're going to have to increase that opacity. So to do that, we're going to drop down on our effects layer, double click on our outer glow, and we're going to drag up our opacity so that way we can end up having a better blend without that kind of showing off that harsh line. Now with that, that's all that this tutorial is. That's all that we're really going to cover in this. And we now have our outer glow. We now have our eyes. So if we zoom back a little bit, it looks pretty good. Again, we have some of those harsh lines. You just have to play with the opacity for whatever your image is. But with that, that's all that we're going to be going through for today. As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something and I hope you enjoyed. Have a wonderful day. Take care and be safe.